up, Otters fans, and welcome in to another edition of the Off the Record podcast right here on the Gem City Sports Podcast Network, presented by Rebich Investments. My name is Trevor Cabella. On this week's episode of the show, we sit down with Otters forward Andrew Kuzma and discuss his time so far in Erie, his hockey career, his health setbacks, and what it's been like in downtown Erie. Come along, let's have some fun. All right, here we go. Another episode of the show. So glad to be joined by one of the newer Otters, Andrew Kuzma. Kuz, thanks so much for taking some time, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. So let's jump right into your hockey career. Obviously, for you growing up, what was life like in the early days? I know coming from a Slovakian family and getting into the game of hockey.
Yeah, no, my mom played hockey in Slovakia, so that's kind of what drew me into playing the sport. But grew up in Florida, kind of playing for Florida Alliance, and then we moved to Chicago, and that's where I started kind of with the mission. Played there for 6 years, and yeah, definitely flies by. But yeah, I was grateful to have those experiences, and obviously the influence from my mom.
Absolutely. And growing up in Florida, what is it like playing hockey down there, right? Because it's probably pretty spread out.
Yeah, it was tough because every time we want to play a tournament like AAA level, it's you're flying to Michigan, Massachusetts, wherever, Illinois. So kind of moving to Illinois, like you kind of appreciate it a little bit more that you can just drive to the showcase or to those big tournaments, and that's definitely kind of what I feel like a lot of Florida kids do nowadays. They go and play their midget years up there, but obviously for me, I went as soon as I could with squirt mate, whatever it was. So yeah, I played 6 years there, and then my younger brother, same thing. But yeah, Florida's definitely tough.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, hockey though has grown so much in those non-traditional markets, which has been great to see. Because even if you grew up 20, 30 years ago, who knows if you would have had the opportunity to play there at all?
Yeah, no, I was a big soccer player. That was kind of my thing. So, and I kind of had to put soccer on the side and take hockey more serious because I was just kind of doing the public skates and then the learn to skate, and then kind of just interests me. And then having my mom play, it helped, give me advice and kind of, how to develop, I guess, doing the extra stuff off the ice as well. But yeah, soccer was my main sport, so I probably would be playing soccer instead of hockey if it wasn't that.
Are you still a big soccer guy?
Like not as much anymore. Like I'm definitely a big sewer guy, pretty good at it. But yeah, that's
maybe the best sewer guy on the team.
I would argue yes. So yeah, but guys don't like it. So yeah, it's always arguments. But no, it's good.
Absolutely. Well, hey, if you have that experience, you might as well use it, right?
For sure.
Tie it into hockey. So you grow up, you battle your way, you make it to the USHL. Talk to me about how those early junior years formed where you've gotten to now.
Yeah, it was a lot of adversity, kind of. Being picked early in the USHL draft and getting the opportunity to join Des Moines as a 16-year-old, like usually with USHL, it's a lot different than the OHL, at least back then it was, where you only have 5 16-year-olds, so there would be like 4 or 5 other 2005 birth year players. So, I mean, opportunities limited for us younger guys in that league, and then just having to battle my way through, get traded in Madison and kind of start fresh there, and I learned a lot about myself throughout those early years, and then obviously gaining the success in Madison helped me end up to where I am today, and kind of getting that D1 commitment, and obviously paving the way for me as a junior hockey player.
Yeah, 100%, and obviously I imagine some differences in those leagues as well. Talk me through what life was like in the USHL, and maybe comparing to how things play out in the OHL.
Yeah, I mean, or like back then, like I think the rule change mixes everything up, because over there, like I remember playing, like celebrating just playing Olympics. I was playing him my second year at USHL, and played against him a ton those early years too. So it's kind of funny seeing a lot of those guys, like Fantilli too. That was my first year, but especially once I went to Madison, where it's Eastern Division, we played Steel like 7 or 8 times, whatever it was. So yeah, it's like those elite high-end guys. I feel like now they're going to be going to major junior more often than not, just because of the rule change. So I think now it's like this league definitely reminds me more of the USHL than I thought it would.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. Because you have guys, like, even for myself, like I have the opportunity to come here because of the rule change, and so do all the other American kids who are already committed, and Canadians too, for that matter, that now everyone's looking to get a commitment and kind of take that way and, get an education out of it and some more time to develop. So I think that's the biggest key, where USHL was the only league to offer that, and now it's you have the big dogs of major juniors stepping in.
It's fascinating, too, because it changes the way you build a team, right?
Yeah.
Because you're building a team for, okay, if you draft, a handful of guys in the OHL that okay, these guys for sure aren't coming. Now, all of a sudden, you can draft out of the U.S. a little bit more than you have, and I think Dave Brown's done a nice job of that. I don't know if Tyler Cooper would be an Erie Otter if not for the rule change.
Yeah, I mean, it's like how I said, those American kids, and, like, even for myself, like, I was a late pick for Kingston, the 8th round, but then, 4 years later, it's kind of funny, like, I end up signing.
Those rights are still there.
Yeah, but it's there. So I think now more often than not, you're going to see, the Americans are going to want to go where the best leagues are, just like the Canadians, and I think with the OHL, that's kind of how it's paved out.
Yeah, and now you have, again, you mentioned the Canadian kids, too. You grow up in Toronto, okay, I can go play in the OHL. Yeah. Now I have this opportunity to go, get a great education on top of playing at a super high level. It feels like kind of a win-win for everybody. But again, it fascinates me the way that a team gets built now versus and how the junior hockey window and the OHL window used to be a 3-4 year thing.
It's quicker now.
It's a lot quicker.
Yeah, it's quicker now because now you have your kind of first 3-round NHL drafted kids who either sign or B, commit to school and go there for a year and sign with their team. But I think even now, like, it's tricky because now I think it extends some other guys' times in junior where now, maybe the not high-end guys are playing their 4 or 5 years, whereas like USHL guys, if you're ready to go, you would go. Whereas now it's kind of like you want to take advantage of the time with, having the play time, and, that's a privilege to have with just being able to get those minutes. So I think yes and no, it changes it, but definitely those younger studs where you pick them in the first couple rounds and they go to the NHL, that's tough, where, they want to go to college and develop there.
Yeah, develop, against bigger guys at a different level, at a different competition, right? So, and obviously for you getting that D1 commitment, what was that like? And obviously, how did it feel to put pen to paper going to Penn State?
Yeah, so originally I was committed to the University of Maine, and then I ended up decommitting like 2 weeks left in the USHL season, my last year. But yeah, it was just kind of the timing piece to it. I really want to be closer to home and kind of having those couple options of being closer home. Obviously Penn State isn't the closest school, but I think the conference itself, that's kind of what I was aiming for. And obviously I'm really happy with how it worked out with kind of being in Madison and having a good year there, and then being able to commit to Penn State and go in that summer was huge for me.
Absolutely. So obviously you hit a roadblock though as you were about to go to school. Let's talk a little bit about that and what kind of led through, everything going on with the surgery, and how did that kind of almost give you maybe a new appreciation for not only the game but life?
Yeah, no, I think the appreciation aspect, like I was definitely alone a lot of the times, just training, skating, because I was kind of on my own schedule with my rehab. It wasn't really rehab, it was just kind of slowly getting back into the lifts and skating non-contact, and then working my way up and ramping that. But yeah, definitely, going in, we do the standard echocardiograms, they caught it. I ended up getting the surgery in November, which that was a very long process, figuring everything out. What's the right approach? Do I need it? Do I not need it? Can I play? So there was multiple variables going into it of not knowing what's going to happen and just taking it day by day. And I think the appreciation aspect, I feel like I do appreciate, being healthy and playing hockey, but more than anything, I learned just to take things day by day. And, you're not going to know what happens tomorrow or the next week. It's just about today and getting better today. And I think I've pulled that along with myself here.
How, crucial was it, though, for you to maybe you got on campus, right, and you were able to kind of be around the guys and also, take some classes and get some credits out of the way as well?
Yeah, well, I did the full year. So I did the summer, I took 2 classes, and then I had the full 5 classes a semester there. So I definitely have a lot of credits for just being there for the year. But, yeah, it's definitely helpful. We're now going back, I still have the 4 years of eligibility, so I could maybe get a little bigger degree or, whatever it is.
100%.
So, yeah, that's definitely an added bonus.
Yeah, obviously, that moment, I imagine, so scary for you and your family. Kind of talk me through that and, how that kind of shaped where you are now.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely kind of scary not knowing. I think for me, I'm a very calm person when it comes to those types of situations where, you don't even know if you're going to be playing hockey again. I think I was not chill about it, but I was very understanding of the fact that, I have a health issue first, and that, that needs to get taken care of before I play hockey. As much as, I was so looking forward to just playing at Penn State, and I finally get my feet on campus and I want to play, but definitely taking things back a little bit and just getting my health back on track was the first goal, and then obviously the gratitude of playing hockey again definitely hits hard for me.
Absolutely, man, and it's obviously so great to have you here, and obviously, doing what you love again. I imagine that first time back, and obviously it was in the OHL, and we'll talk to you moving to the OHL. What was that first game back like?
It wasn't pretty, for sure. I mean, it was, I forgot, 500-something days. Like, it was a long time. So, yeah, it was just preseason game against Ottawa, and, yeah, obviously took a couple of games to get back into it, but even now, like, it's still, I'm finding more about myself, and, it's not an uphill trajectory. There's definitely, the ups and downs throughout the season, and I think just understanding that has helped me a ton. But, yeah, the first game was definitely, as advertised, to be kind of difficult, but, yeah, I grew from it.
What led into the decision to come to the OHL? Why was the OHL the route you wanted to go to make sure that, you could get yourself back to that level before going to Penn State?
Yeah, I think just saving the years of eligibility for myself. I know that, with college, there's a 32-game season rather than the OHL where you have 68 games. And I think for me, getting those repetitions, getting those puck touches in the game is what I really needed. As far as this season and being out for a full season, that's kind of the biggest thing that I was missing out on, where, what's best for my hockey career right now and also for the future. So when I go back, I'm not going to waste time trying to figure out, what my game needs to be or kind of those details within the game. But now I can kind of establish myself as I know what to do, and, just the execution piece from that. So.
And again, the rule change, so beneficial, right? And you being a direct beneficiary of that, because if, things were different, you would have, I guess, probably gone back to the USHL to have that type of development, or do you go right back to Penn State?
I have no clue. Honestly, it was just more the OHL piece where kind of my brother was in Kingston, and kind of they're reaching out with kind of my situation and kind of what was going on with me and kind of what I was thinking. I wouldn't say like it was, here or USHL. It was just kind of nice to have this door open. I think the Penn State coaches just kind of saw it for what it was, and the development piece for me to be here was definitely important. But yeah, I can't tell you like what kind of, it was just kind of, I was hoping that, the GM's meeting and end of August went through, that, I could come here, because the overagers coming from BCHL or college, they weren't allowed to come in. So until that rule change happened, that's kind of when I made it official that, okay, this is happening. But yeah, it was very last minute kind of. Once that door opened, I wanted to take it.
Absolutely, and obviously having the chance to play with your brother, how cool was that? And, being able to be with him and be around him.
Yeah, no, it was definitely good times. Kind of just battling adversity together, throughout the year, that learned a lot about each other. And then, the good times, being at the rink, away from the rink, just spending, 24/7 with each other. It's definitely good memories, and definitely look back on it.
Was that the first time you played with your brother?
Yeah, I mean, just the age gap, it's 3 years, so it's like he grew up watching me play, and then when I got into USHL, by the time he was eligible to join USHL, even if he did play as a 16-year-old, I was out of the league. So it was never really in my mind that maybe I could play with him, but obviously with my medical issue and then kind of taking the step back to go back into junior hockey, it became a reality for me. And
that's pretty awesome. And again, it almost is like fate that you guys end up together playing with each other. It's kind of wild to think about it like that. But, if things had been different, those memories and that time you had with him, maybe it wouldn't have happened.
It wouldn't. That's the thing where, like, if I don't run into all of that, then definitely would just be in, kind of my sophomore year and, just playing along the way. But now it's, kind of taking the step back and being able to play with him. It's nothing that I thought would have happened, but definitely it panned out the way it should have, and obviously really thankful for that experience, to be with him for that part of the season, and it was definitely a good time for me.
100%. And obviously life in Kingston, not a bad place to play junior hockey there. Just beautiful scenery right on the water there. What was life like in Kingston and your time there?
Yeah, it was definitely different. Kind of just being in Midwest, like USHL, it's the spots here are pretty good. I can't lie, but being in Madison too was pretty sick too. So I can't say even Des Moines. Like I was pretty fortunate to be in good junior hockey towns, but yeah, Kingston's a good spot. Like I visited after I played in the Linka Gretzky tournament, so I was able to kind of see what it was about, and obviously kind of had that connection with knowing how special of a place it was, and obviously the facility and having Queens there and then the downtown. It's a good setup there for sure.
Yeah, great setup for sure. But obviously you end up making the move to Erie in around the trade deadline. Walk me through that and why Erie, right spot for you.
Yeah, no, I just think for me it's about developing myself for the next season, which for me is college, but kind of the direction that Kingston was taking, and I had to take things didn't line up, and kind of taking my development to another team was kind of the goal, with management and myself, that I need to play hockey this year and play my minutes and play my role, and that was kind of what it came down to. And obviously I've been fortunate to have the coaching staff here believe in me.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously, being back in the States as well, I can imagine pretty good for you.
Yeah, it's definitely nice having the Chipotle and Chick-fil-A's and stuff like that. That's the biggest thing that I've been saying. Like just the food spots, it definitely feels closer to home.
It's not Chicago, but it's still. I mean, not quite Chicago, but I can imagine, a little more comfortable.
Yeah, it definitely helps, especially when you switch teams. Like, just going back to U.S. was easier for me on my mind, just knowing that it kind of feels closer to home, and just being in the U.S. it definitely helps.
And you are geographically closer to home too, right? A little bit easier for everybody to come watch you play.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, my parents want to come up for the Kingston game when they come.
Oh yeah,
here, so
that's true.
That's the one they got planned out.
They have the half and half jersey, maybe.
Yeah, probably not. No, because he's got his Green Bay jersey from when he played. But
okay.
I have a ton of my Madison and Des Moines ones. So I don't think they'll cut up a jersey just to do that. Those are mine.
That's true. Yeah, don't mess with those.
Those are my
in a
jerseys.
few years, man. Coming from a big jersey collector myself, man, you don't. Yeah, don't
yeah.
mess with
I'm the same way. Like it's they're gonna get hung up.
They're gonna be
worth
room. Something to you personally, and who knows what they could go for on eBay, right?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, man, I always joke with Mally, and like I would do like a Chris Millette Flint Generals jersey would be an unbelievable add to any collection, right? Or a Ken Paroff Brampton Battalion jersey all day, man.
Yeah, that's unreal.
But no, what have you liked so far about Erie and being here and with this team? How's the fit been for you?
Yeah, I think the fit, it's definitely a young group here. Everyone's kind of looking to come back and kind of, sink in their teeth into roles this year and kind of show the coaching staff what they can do for this club next year. And I think the biggest piece for me is just being a good influence on those guys from, what I do on the ice, off the ice, and then from the leadership standpoint of, how to treat the day-to-day grind. And yeah, I mean, it's been great so far. Like, no complaints. Coaching staff's really good. So, I mean, I don't have much to say on it besides how smooth it's been of a transition for me. So, yeah, I've been happy.
What kind of leadership role can you play as a guy that's kind of been there, done it, right? You've obviously your life experiences and everything that you've been through at such a young age. How can that influence some of these guys and, again, provide a little bit of leadership with this team?
Yeah, I think part of this team, too, we're going to battle a lot of adversity. It's week by week. Obviously, when I first got here, it was a tough start, that road weekend, and then kind of building our way up into, what it's come to now, just battling adversity. And obviously, I've battled a lot of adversity just through, my health issue and kind of even my junior hockey career being in that for a while, and then, having to figure out the college stuff too. But I've kind of experienced it all from, not just life, but also the hockey piece of being a 16-year-old in USHL and now being in the OHL and seeing, the 16, 17-year-olds and helping them out.
Yeah, 100%. It's always, fascinating, especially a unique situation for you as an overager, too. Most overagers have been in the OHL for 5 years. Yeah. For you, first year in the OHL and kind of learning the league yourself. And obviously, a lot of these guys have kind of all played together growing up, and imagine maybe a chance for you to play against some of these guys at some point.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely weird, like coming from, USHL. Like I know everyone in the league.
Yeah.
Like my third year, it's like, I see all the names. I know everyone. I either play with them or against them. But even here, like in Canada, like I can recognize like some of the O5s that I played against just kind of through my time playing Mission, and we go to Toronto a ton, just for tournaments and stuff. So I mean, it's like I recognize some of the guys, but as you go through the league and uh, you don't recognize too many more names. But obviously, when you go through the year, you start to know guys' tendencies and stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely different. Just kind of being a veteran in the USHL and then coming here and having to figure it out. But obviously, the play and the travel and all that, it's not anything significantly different. It's just kind of the guys in the league that you don't know exactly who you're playing against.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's high-end guys and the guys that kind of I know that I played against. But yeah.
For you, obviously, having the chance to play in this building, what's that been like, and the fans, and
Yeah.
how they kind of embraced you in your time here?
Yeah, I mean, it's been unreal. Honestly, exceeded my expectations for how nice of a arena this is. I mean, they pack it like it gets rowdy for sure, kind of unexpectedly. I feel like with how big of a setup it is, so it's definitely nice to have that. That we have a lot of people showing up and supporting us. Regardless of the result of the games, we try to. Obviously now the results have been better,
Especially
but
in this building, yeah.
yeah, especially in the building. I think that's the biggest key where we're at home, we're playing in front of our fans, and that's definitely been the biggest factor with us, just being able to play with our energy and pace here in this building.
How
So.
does this kind of compare to the USHL in terms of a rink?
I mean, it's definitely on the higher end side. Kind of being in Madison, it's smaller rink, but I'd say a lot of the rinks there are also very good. But here, I think you don't have one rink that you can say isn't good enough. It's every spot has a sweet setup, and I think for USHL too, it's just being in the Midwestern part of US, like people are very passionate there too.
Yeah.
Just like how it is in Canada, where it's Canada's sport, but more importantly, like for the Midwest people, that's smaller towns. That's all they got.
Yeah,
And then,
for sure.
yeah, so I think that's the biggest thing with the fans and the atmospheres. It's very similar, I'd say, but obviously, with Erie, it's you got a nice arena and you got a lot of fans coming through the doors to support us, so that's definitely a nice piece.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously adds a lot on a game night when this place is packed. Again, I think back to the last Saturday at time of recording, it was 4,000 in the building. It felt like a lot more. Right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Just
it's just the noise and the rowdiness
Yeah.
that I kind of notice, where not every building in the OHL is getting filled up like that, and especially with the fans, like some places are more quiet than others, and I think we can really appreciate having some people play in front of, and obviously they're passionate. So.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's always, for me growing up, coming to games here, and the way it's kind of evolved has been, cool to see. And now, obviously, where I'm at now is it's incredible, and yeah, just I imagine down there on the ice, adds on a little bit, and scoring a goal and get your first one out of the way on the road, but then you get the first one here, right? Like that's got to be so special.
Yeah, no, yeah, it was important to kind of get rolling early. The first 5 games were pretty tough, so as soon as you can get one, you try to get them in bunches and just keep going, and then obviously the production piece too. It's nice to kind of get it all going at the same time, and scoring in front of the fans is pretty special too, just having that.
How important is it for you two in your development to be getting the top line minutes that you are getting here? And obviously, what has it been like playing with Chris Millette?
Yeah, I think obviously getting those minutes is pretty important for me. Just establishing myself as a centerman and being able to play up in the lineup, it's a privilege, and I think just taking every opportunity I can, regardless of how old I am, it's still I got to battle and compete and earn my ice. So I think that's been the biggest thing, where I'm getting those puck touches, getting those minutes under my belt after missing a full year of hockey. So that's been really important to me, and obviously just hold on to that role, just as long as I can, and keep developing. That's all what hockey is about. Is there's people trying to beat you out, and you just want to take that role and exceed with it.
I got to ask you, too, what's it like playing with Michael Deck and his skill?
Yeah, no, it's been really, really fun to play with him. He's a really high IQ player, skilled, so it's really easy to play with him, especially in the offensive zone, kind of finding each other. It's been really fun, and obviously still learning more about each other as we go with, how short of a run it's already been. So it's just taking it game by game, but it's been really fun playing with him.
How nice is it, too, with obviously the Penn State connection, playing in the state of PA, only about 3 hours down the road from where your next chapter of hockey is going to take place?
Yeah, it's something that I definitely think about, especially when I found out I was first coming here. Kind of that was one of the things that kind of made it feel like home for me just right away, and making that transition a little more smooth, along with being in the U.S. and along with the staff and the teammates here. It definitely makes it easy. But then also having that to kind of think back on that, I'm in the state where I'm going to school, and I was there last year, so kind of being aware of the state of Pennsylvania and being here, it definitely helps.
A little bit of the PA culture, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Knowing some of the differences, right? But pretty awesome. Obviously, I can imagine, knowing like what you're working toward, I guess, throughout the rest of this season.
Yeah, for sure. It's not looking too far ahead. That's been the biggest thing, just not looking too far ahead, being where my feet are, and I think it's been really helpful being here with kind of the setup that we have, and obviously the staff and kind of the guys around me, and being in the U.S. definitely helps too. So.
Absolutely. Well, let's step away from the rink a little bit. What do you like to get into in your free time?
Yeah, I mean, junior hockey, it's kind of
not a lot of free time.
You're laying around, big Xbox guy.
Okay.
Kind of that's my thing in season, and then summers it's hang out with my friends. It's a lot of training, but here and there fishing, nothing crazy. It's pretty simple summers for me, and then in season a lot of Xbox. But yeah, hanging out with my brothers and the brother in the summer, that's kind of been the biggest thing for me, since I don't really get to be with him during the year. But yeah, that's kind of the thing, just hanging out with friends and family, and then fishing here and there, and kind of it's a lot of training though too, so yeah, hang out with friends there too. So
100%. Perfect night for you coming up on Friday then with our fishing night. Time of recording, that's our theme on Friday night. So
I'm not like some crazy fish.
No,
like I'm very
now and
casual.
Again, just go out there.
Yeah, I'm very like I enjoy just going with buddies, and it's just chopping it up, but nothing crazy. So
just enjoy the time on the water. Right?
Yeah.
Probably a little easier doing your growing up as a kid in Florida versus.
I mean, honestly, in Florida, I wasn't big into it. I
really
more so got into it in Illinois, which it's kind of tougher spot to get into, but we have the lakes, and
so you got
being in Wisconsin.
Yeah,
so it's not crazy for me that I'm like some big fisher. It's just kind of some that I do if my buddies are doing it, or my brother. We kind of go together a lot, so it's nothing like I'm some crazy fisher guy. Like, I don't want to put off that vibe, because I'm not.
But hey, not a bad way to spend the summer though. And you mentioned the Xbox, what games do you get into?
Yeah, it's a lot of Shell, kind of the CODs, Battlefield, whatever is in. That everyone's playing, but recently it's been a lot of Shell, Minecraft.
Okay, Minecraft.
Going,
I remember playing that when I was a kid back in the day.
No, it's kind of you pick it up, you leave it, and then pick it up again.
Okay,
yeah. So it's good times.
Say that was a classic for middle school, Trev. Back in the day. Oh yeah. Rip Minecraft with your buddies all the time. Good times, man. Good times. Yeah. For me, I was still into the sports games, like just play NHL.
It's easy.
Nice, easy, like.
Yeah. That's what me and my brother always get into, just 1v1ing Shell, or we do like.
You ever play as yourself?
No, I honestly I don't have enough time to like create my player.
Well, you're in the game.
No, I don't look into it at all. Like, if we're playing, it's like I'm Toronto Maple Leafs. Matthews is my guy.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of what I roll with, or Avs. Like we'll do a lot of 1v1s, but then we'll do World Excel and stuff like that. Like, it gets pretty heated, but yeah, it's just kind of whatever.
Yeah,
for me. I guess I haven't experienced that, playing as myself.
You
doesn't
could
really cross my mind.
You could.
Like,
I used back in the day. I used to play season as the Erie Otters all the time. Like, they're in the game, man. You can beat Andrew Kuzma in NHL. That's gonna be a wild thing to think about, like being in the game. But I know that with this team, that game is quite popular, especially amongst the younger guys.
Yeah, no, it's definitely really popular. Just with us playing hockey and kind of Shell, like
It's easy to get into.
Yeah, it's easy. It's simple. They don't change the game up year by year.
Yeah,
so
no, they do not.
Yeah,
For better or for worse.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, it's that's always a lot of fun. And I know you mentioned being back in the U.S., enjoying some of the American spots around Erie. Has there been another spot around Erie that you've really enjoyed going to?
Honestly, it's just been the Chipotle. Like, there's no Chipotle in Kingston, so kind of being without that, like, that's multiple times a week for me, just for lunch.
Big chipper guy.
Yeah, like, it's not even addicting. It's just habit at this point. And then, yeah, just having a couple of those spots, it's definitely nice where, you know, they're starting to get them in Canada, but not everywhere. So it's, once you see them, you kind of try to end up there more times than not. But here it's definitely just more of a habit piece of having those spots.
Yeah, for sure. That's always going to be great. And again, just the comfort level of being back home and not home, but home enough and enjoy that. Obviously, and you had a year of it at Penn State last year where you had all the great options back in the U.S. Not that there's not any in Canada. I'm a big Harvey's guy. So.
Yeah, no, there's some good spots, like some replacements for, you know, Chipper and stuff like that. But, you know, kind of once you have Chipotle, it's you
never
really
going back.
appreciate it. So, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, let's come back to kind of wrap this thing up. Obviously, as you kind of put an end to your junior hockey career, talk to me a little bit about the excitement about having the opportunity to go to Penn State next year.
Yeah, I think for myself, just, you know, being able to go to a really sweet Big Ten school, that's kind of always been a dream of mine, and kind of having the opportunity to be there last year, and obviously wasn't able to play, but kind of seeing it from close up, being in the locker room, and obviously, you know, being a part of the practices and, you know, working out and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's kind of the biggest key, that I already know what it's like, and now it's just going there and being able to do what I do. And with my time in Erie is still finishing up those touches and my development, and obviously working on all aspects of my game before I go there. So
yeah, absolutely. I was going to mention, right, like how what do you want to work on? I guess what do these last 14 games as we're sitting here recording this mean to you as you look ahead to that time?
Yeah, I think the pace for me, just always improving my pace, my speed, my footwork, and obviously the skill too. Just refining that throughout the year has been huge. Obviously, just executing those plays whenever I can. I think, you know, not worrying about the points, but rather just finishing the plays in that next shift mentality. I think that's going to be huge carrying into college hockey, where, you know, there's a lot of chaos with how physical and fast it is, and just being able to control what I can, and starting that here is huge for me.
Absolutely, man. Well, this has been a lot of fun. Thanks so much for taking some time doing it.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, that's going to do it for another edition of the On the Record podcast here on the Gem City Sports Podcast Network, presented by Rebich Investments. Reminder, you can catch us every Thursday, 7 o'clock. That will do it for another episode of the show. For our guest, Andrew Kuzma, I'm Trevor Cabea. Thanks so much for joining us on another edition of On the Record.